The pastor of an East Bay church for immigrants from Central America is under arrest, charged with several counts of kidnapping and aggravated sexual assault of a child under the age of 14. His alleged victim, a member of his congregation. Good evening. I'm Amma Dates.
And I'm Dan Ashley. Thanks for joining us. The ABC 7 News I-team has been looking into Pastor Victor Hernandez for the past week.
Yes, and Dan Noyes joins us here now tonight with the story. Dan.
Amma and Dan, I began investigating after hearing from one very concerned family. I first asked the police about the allegations last week. They said the investigation was ongoing, and today they made an arrest. Just a few months ago, this church, Iglesia Pentecostés Movimiento de Gloria in Richmond, attracted 150 people or more for services. Then, allegations of sexual abuse started surfacing against the pastor, 53-year-old Victor Manuel Hernandez. And now the church is lucky to draw a dozen people on a Sunday. Until a month ago, Pablo Cifuentes was a senior official at the church, an elder. That's him getting a hug from the pastor.
He said that I was his friend. He said that I was his right-hand man. But when I found out, he made me so angry.
His 21-year-old daughter, Karen, just recently told her parents when she was 13, the pastor convinced her it was God's will that they have sex.
He took me to a hotel near the school, and at that moment I told him that I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel good and that we shouldn't do it. But he made me do it.
Karen tells me she resisted because of their age difference, because he was married, because he was her pastor. But she says the sexual abuse occurred 5 times over a span of 3 years.
It changed my life totally, mentally. I was dead. It killed me. I did not think the same. My grades went down. I was angry with my parents at home. I acted out. I could not tell my parents anything, and I was always angry.
When she finally told her parents 2 months ago, they were devastated.
I couldn't believe it. It was difficult. My daughter was very small. I thought it was my fault for confiding in him. We went to that church searching for love, searching for help, and we found it. But in the end, we were damaged.
They left the church a month ago and say they will never return.
When I found out from my daughter's lips what had happened to her, I felt like grabbing him and making him disappear. But I also understood that doing it with my own hands would get me into trouble.
So Pablo Cifuentes called the police and filed a report. He says he didn't hear back, so he contacted the I-team through a friend. Cifuentes says as church elder, he heard complaints about the pastor from others, including Jocelyn Alvarez.
It happened like 24 days ago.
Oh, just in the past month?
Yeah.
Jocelyn and her mother tell me Pastor Hernandez requested a private meeting with the 16-year-old in a room upstairs in the church.
He hugged me like very tight, like he didn't like want to let me go. And then he started like touching
Your thigh?
Yeah, my thigh. And then after that, he got my hand and put it in his thigh.
Jocelyn says the pastor tried to kiss her, that she felt uncomfortable and left.
I just didn't know what to think because like he's a pastor. Like, why would he do that to me?
Her mother feels strongly enough that she too has quit the church.
It worried me a lot because I felt that something worse was going to happen to her. I got angry. I got very upset because he is a pastor. That's not right, what he did.
I called and texted Pastor Hernandez, and when he didn't respond, I met him as he arrived for the 10 a.m. service this past Sunday. Victor, I'm Dan Noyes from Channel 7. I need to talk to you. Would you do an interview with me, please?
About what?
I'd like to talk to you about the accusations that young girls and young women are making against you of sexual abuse. Will you talk to me, please? The pastor didn't say a word, just made that gesture when I mentioned complaints of sexual abuse. His adult daughter and son pushed me out of the way and blocked my camera as he pulled up the window. This is a public place. That's cool. Victor? I also wanted to ask about that fancy car, the BMW M5 with competition package that he bought new 2 years ago for more than $110,000, while he encourages his congregation of Central American immigrants to tithe, to give 10% of their income to the church. And I wanted to ask about his assault rifle. He photographed Karen Cifuentes holding it during the time she says he was sexually abusing her.
What I want for him is to go to jail. I don't feel safe. He could harm me because I'm asking for help, and he could find out and harm me. What he did was wrong. It's not right, and I want the police to act.
Richmond police arrested Pastor Hernandez this afternoon. I was there as he arrived to be booked.
He faces 4 counts of aggravated sexual assault of a child under the age of 14 and 3 counts of kidnapping. Karen tells me the pastor would pose as a family member, take her out of school, and go to a hotel. Investigators say they moved to arrest Hernandez today because he may have become aware of the police investigation.
When that happens, we feel it's important to get them into custody, whether it be to prevent them from fleeing, whether it be to protect the victim. All those are factors in which it would cause us to accelerate our investigation and take them into custody.
Hernandez is being held on $7 million bail. He has retained a defense attorney who tells me they will not comment about his arrest or about my report. Dan,
Wow. And I know you'll stay on top of it and keep us updated. Okay. Thank you, Dan.